Question number 48 on the reading portion of College Board's Test 3. The main purpose of the fourth paragraph, lines 42 to 50, is to remember purpose questions. What does purpose mean? Purpose means what does it bring to the table? What does it offer? What does it provide us that is not provided anywhere else in the piece? So when we talk about what's the purpose of the fourth paragraph, what is that thing doing that nothing else in the piece does? A better way of thinking about it could be, if you were to remove the fourth paragraph completely, what do we no longer know? What's missing? What's no longer understood? That's what it's going to be. The main purpose of the fourth paragraph is to, let's remember what the fourth paragraph is about. The fourth paragraph is about bringing forth how this hypothesis can be best tested. So we haven't tested the relationship between pyrethrum and mite infestation. But what are we doing? The hypothesis of the connection between these two things. Remember, honeybee colony collapse is possibly caused by pyrethrum deficiency. How can we test this hypothesis? Well, we're going to now talk about the experiment. That's what this paragraph is doing. We're talking about the experiment that will lead us to test this hypothesis. We're going to have some bees that eat pyrethrum and clover, some bees that only eat clover, and we're going to introduce mites to both and see how they fare. They think that the ones that have the pyrethrum are going to be healthier, but that's what we're testing. We haven't tested it yet because hypothesis can best be tested. So this paragraph, the purpose of it is to provide us with information as to how to go about doing an experiment. Or if we were to remove it, right? Let's remove it from the paragraph, logically get rid of it. What do we no longer know? We no longer know how to set up the experiment. We no longer know what we need to do in order to determine whether or not these speculative hypotheses are correct or not. Are they founded or unfounded? We no longer know that if we get rid of that paragraph. That's what this paragraph provides that no other paragraph provides. The scientific scaffolding for how to go about doing the experiment. So let's look at the answer choices. The main purpose is to A, summarize the results of an experiment that confirms the author's hypothesis. We didn't summarize an experiment because the experiment was never done. Up to this point, we have not done an experiment. The paragraph is hypothesizing and talking about how to create the experiment. So it can't be A. What about B? The main purpose of the fourth paragraph is to B, propose an experiment. I like that. We're proposing it. This is how we would do it. We haven't done it. This is what we would do. Propose an experiment to investigate how the different diets affect commercial honeybee colonies susceptible to mite infestations. Yeah, one diet with pyrethrum, one diet without clover. I like B. We're proposing. This is our proposition. This is what we think we should do. We haven't done it. This is what we should do. What about C? The main purpose of the fourth paragraph is to provide a comparative nutritional analysis of the honey produced by the experimental colonies. Are we talking about a nutritional analysis of honey produced? Never. We don't talk about the health of the honey or which one's more nutritious ever in this piece. What about D? The main purpose of the fourth paragraph is to predict the most likely outcome of an unfinished experiment summarized in the third paragraph. Is it unfinished? Notice how now they're putting words in our mouth. Unfinished implies that the scientists did something and then they stop midway and then they're like, oh, this is our unfinished experiment. No, we haven't even set up an experiment. We haven't done an experiment. No part of this experimental process has even started. That's where this comes in. The hypothesis can be tested. It hasn't been stopped mid-experiment, so it's not going to be D. D is just trying to put words in our mouth. It seems reasonable, like it summarizes the third paragraph, something about an experiment, but unfinished? What unfinished experiment? We have no idea about that. The answer, I think, to 48 is going to be B. It hits on all the right notes. It's not wrong. No part of it's messed up. The main purpose is to propose an experiment to better investigate the diets and how they affect mite infestation. That's exactly what this is about. That's what this paragraph brings to the table. That's what the information we would lose if we were to get rid of that paragraph from the piece. The answer, again, to number 48 is going to be B.